Great. Let me actually introduce Karen first, and then we'll do a short meditation so that we can just go seamlessly in. So the title of today's workshop is Navigating Groundlessness. Each day in this crisis, we wake up to a new set of conditions. Most of them are confusing or frightening in some way. We have no choice to orient and adjust to the rapid fire changes, leaving us on unfamiliar ground. Join Karen for an hour of body-based practices that helps to restore orientation, ground, and presence in this time of shifting sands. Yeah. Embodied practices have the potential to bring us home to ourselves from states of fear, depression, anxiety, panic, despair, and confusion. These are simple, practical, mindfulness-based skills that can be shared with your family and friends in person or virtually. So Karen Brown is a licensed mental health counselor and is somatically oriented psychotherapist who specializes in working with high intensity stress through body.
My earphones if you want.
Oh, sorry, please mute your mic. Okay. Through body-oriented and resource-building pathways. Her subspecialty is training caregivers and first responders in self-care skills and the amelioration of secondary traumatic stress. She has participated in several disaster response efforts and understands the profound importance of restoring us to our own embodiment as a fundamental reality when everything around us has been impacted. Karen is a longtime student of the Dharma and maintains a private practice in New York City. So we're going to just do a short meditation to just bring us all in the room and bring us into our present circumstances. If your mic isn't muted, if I haven't muted you, please mute your mic. So first is to take a comfortable position for yourself. That could be laying down, sitting up, standing, whatever feels most comfortable for you or most relaxed. So it's an invitation to relax into your body and your environment as best as possible without stress or trying to get anything right. There's nothing to get right. And first, just check into how you're feeling in your body, what's arising in your body, not to fix it or to pump it up, but just to notice what's happening in the landscape of your soma, your body. Checking in with your emotions. How are you feeling? What's arising? Again, not to fix it or categorize it, but just to know what the landscape, what the material is. And then bringing your attention to your mind state. What's arising in your mind? Is your mind speedy? Is it sluggish? Is it open? Is it tight? Is it full of color? Is it more muted? Just having a sense of what's going on in the being that's known as you. And then just feeling your body breathing. Bringing your awareness to the feeling of your body as it breathes. Wherever you feel that, whether it's in your belly, your back, your shoulders, your hips, your throat, wherever you feel the temperature or the flow, the rise and fall of your body as it breathes in and out, your regular breath. Eyes can be closed or open, but they should be relaxed. Letting body sensations, emotions, and thoughts arise, abide, and dissolve on their own. Distraction is not a problem, just make more space for it, welcome it in. Invite it to relax with you as you feel your body breathing. And you're welcome to come out of the meditation, and I will turn it over to Karen.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. I can't see you, but I know you're here, so I'm just really excited to be with you. And first of all, I just have to thank the awesome team at Weekly Dharma Gathering for organizing this meeting. Shantae, Ashley, and Alex. They made it happen without much lead time, and there was just no hesitancy. And to me, that's the expression of a true Sangha, a true practice community with heart. So I bow to you guys. And I really encourage you to check out the offerings at Weekly Dharma Gathering. They really express the realities, values, and needs of diverse communities. And I am really proud to participate with them. Also, I want to acknowledge the lineage of the work I'm presenting here today. Although I'm doing it in very much my own expression of it, this work is based in relational trauma therapy, founded by Merete Holm Brandberg in Denmark, and the Bodynamic Institute in Denmark and the United States. So I want to name that those of us gathering here today are in all kinds of facing different conditions, right? Although we're all facing this coronavirus and what it's demanding of us, some people are living with health conditions, some people are well, some people are facing food insecurity, others are well stocked. Some of us just lost our jobs. Some of us are able to continue our employment or our self-employment. So I really want to acknowledge the differences and welcome the differences. All these states of being are welcome here. and this work can help us no matter what. Also, all of the activities we're going to do today are possible no matter what your physical capacities are. You may have not a lot of physical capacity right now, and that's okay. We can get creative in how we do this work together. So as I said in my introduction, my written introduction to the class, this is an unprecedented time, and everybody says that, I know, which is where maybe I'm a little tired of hearing it, but the meaning, how that's meaningful to us in our bodily experience, our emotional experience, our nervous systems, is that the rhythms, the responsibilities, the things that we do, and the demands of our everyday lives really hold us and contain us in a familiar way of life that we can orient to. We know what's coming next, more or less. We don't have control over the world, but we know we're going to work. We more or less know when we're coming home. We know when our partner is coming home. We know how much money we're going to make this month. And all of these things, in an implicit way, create our ground. And right now, the ground in some way has really been moved out. And it changes on a day-to-day basis. And that takes away our, and puts our nervous systems in this, like, which way do I look? Which way do I go? Is the information I'm receiving correctly? If I go to the store, will there be food? I know on the first time I went to the store, and this was weeks ago now, and it was early in the morning, and there was nothing on the shelves. I was so disoriented. I didn't quite know what to do. So it's these kinds of conditions that are giving us all a challenge. And we each might feel distressed by something different. However, I don't know a person who doesn't feel distressed right now, although I'm sure there are some. In addition to all of that, we are now in a situation where we must physically distance for all of our own safety. And that flies in the face of our deepest evolutionary impulse, which is when there is an emergency, high stress, people on an evolutionary instinctual level want to come towards each other and gather. And so we can do that, but not physically right now. So it does matter to be able to see people face to face, even when we cannot touch each other. So this hour will be largely experiential. We're gonna work with specific bodily exercises and mindful movement that have the potential to shift our state, both our physical state, maybe lower our bodily sense of anxiety or our bodily sense of paralysis or depression, and our mental state, as well as our emotional state. Or for some of us, we might get more in contact with authentic emotions, which we may not have had much contact with right now. So what is a resource? So, for example, you might feel calmer, you might feel more empowered, you might feel your bodily strength or your and your emotional and mental strength, you might feel softer or more fluid, less despair, more creativity. So these are just examples, and you will have your own experience, which will be unlike anyone else's. So the general principles are go for what works. These activities tend to bring a fairly immediate change that is noticeable. And not every activity will work for everybody. So let go of the ones that don't work for you. It's not a failure, it's just a difference. So another principle I work with often is dosage, and that refers to the amount, the size of a movement, or the duration or intensity of a movement. We'll start with a kind of medium dose here. It works better to repeat an activity to get a higher dose if we want it than to start with the highest dose. If something doesn't feel right to you, please don't do it. You might just imagine it and see how that is. And if you're doing something and it's causing you distress, stop it right away. You can try, I'm going to demonstrate a lot of the activities sitting down. I'll demonstrate the standing version as well. But they can be done sitting down, standing up. They can be done lying down. I'm not going to demonstrate that way because I can't quite do that on the video, and it's a little harder. But they certainly can be adapted. And I like to get interaction from participants. So Shantae, can people say things or give feedback? Not sure.
Yes, if they want to, they can unmute you could say pause and they can unmute their mic or raise their hand in the chat feature, and then I can call on them.
Okay, terrific, great, because I will often after an exercise, I will ask for just what was your experience, because it's very, very helpful to hear what other people's experiences are. It can widen our own. It's like, oh yeah, I felt something like that too, but I didn't have the words for it, for example. Also to notice that we're each going to have a different impact, and there are no wrong experiences. Every experience that you have today, whether it's positive, neutral, or uncomfortable, is a right experience, right? So that's an important principle to this work. I'm going to, the first thing we do is a kind of a sequence, and I'm going to guide you through it. And while you don't know what's coming next, I promise I'm not going to do anything surprising or weird, and I will do it along with you. And you don't have to do it the way I'm doing it. However, it often feels good to just to have accompaniment while you do your own activity. All right, so the first sequence we will do, I call grounding in the senses, and I'll guide you through it and do it with you. So once again, as Shantae had us do at the beginning, I just want you to take a moment to orient to yourself right now. So just begin to sense yourself. You can close your eyes or leave them open, but take a moment to sense your own body. Noticing, simply to begin with, you might notice your breath, the movement of your body with your breath. You might notice areas of comfort, areas of discomfort. You might notice that you aren't noticing much. You might notice that you feel cold or warm. You might notice that you feel numb or a very high rev. And we're just checking in to notice our baseline, what I call our baseline, where we're starting from today, because what we will do is after every activity, we'll check in with our baseline before and after. So now I'm going to invite you to begin a little gentle and mindful movement. And there's no prescribed way to move. It's just like, oh, just begin to feel how your body wants to move right now. You can also, if you're sitting, you can stand. If you're standing, you can sit. But just start moving mindfully, slowly, and gently. I don't know about you, but I've been sitting an awful lot this week. So it really feels good to move. Feels good to stretch. And see if you can imagine how your body wants you to move. Sometimes we put a lot of demands on how we should be doing something, but how does your body want to move today? And the most important part of this is really to register your movement. And if you find yourself thinking about lunch, just kind of come back and feel yourself moving. This is your movement. It's not prescribed. No one can tell you that it's wrong. And then slowly, maybe take another 30 seconds to do what you'd like to do. And then you can either sit or stand, whichever feels best to you right now. And take a moment just to tune in now and notice what might be different or not. And then from here, just let your eyes soften, just as though everything that you're seeing can just gently come in. Often when there's a lot to orient to, our eyes get a little bit hard and they want to go out to the information. But right now we can just let our eyes soften, almost like they can just go back a little bit. And from here, just let your eyes move around the room in their own way, own rhythm, registering what you see, even naming it to yourself. Like I see the lace on the top of my curtains. So we're seeing what we see in the here and now. And we're focusing more on the seeing than on our thoughts about what we see or our emotions about what we see, like the messy pile of papers I see on my desk. Just papers, that's all. And now slowly shift to your sense of sound. Again, with soft ears, sounds coming towards you. Near sounds and far sounds. Now shifting to your sense of temperature, the temperature of the air, the temperature of your skin, your inner body temperature. And now just check the air for scent. Is there anything that you're aware of? So even noticing that there's no particular smell is an awareness. And then once again, take a moment to notice what you notice. Now having gone through moving and landing, grounding in the senses. And this is a moment where if you'd like to share something, and I love to hear, I love to be interactive, I would love to hear some of your experiences. So either raise your hand and Shantae will unmute you.
Yes, I can't see everyone because there are over 50 of you. So if you raise your hand in if you go to participants, hover over your name and click the raise hand feature, then I can see a blue hand and I can call on you. Otherwise, you can ask your question in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Or make a comment, like maybe something has shifted for you already. Positive or negative. Okay. Just gonna take my glasses off. Oh. From Nicole to everyone. Feeling nice and warmed up. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you. Yeah.
And this
Go
is
ahead,
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
I feel much more in my body.
Ah. And how is that for you? Is that a good experience?
Yes, I feel calmer.
Great. So you feel more in your body and calmer. Thank you.
Okay, unnamed iPhone, I'm unmuting you now.
I'm feeling, this is Priscilla, I'm feeling full, like my body is alive, like.
Yeah. Yeah. So more filled out, more alive.
Yeah.
And Carla, on the chat, Carla Amanda Brown says, so Natani says, oh, she notices how tight her jaw is. Debbie feels more grounded. Jen says, I already feel better. Carla Brown says, I feel more awake and connected with the space I inhabit at this moment. Suzanne says, feeling present and in control and creative with hope. Okay, we can end the class now. Okay, so I'm gonna go on. And so the next thing I'd like you to do, I'll Oh, I have to make my little box go away because it's bothering me. Okay, there I go. All right, I'm gonna move. I have to move a little bit so you can see me. You know, this is a Manhattan apartment, so staging this has been really a challenge. All righty. Okay, so you can't see my head, but you can see the rest of me. So now we're just going to use our own, well, rats. Okay, we're going to use our own hands to kind of press into our edges. So with a fairly firm touch, you're going to just squeeze down your limbs. And there's two sides of this. There's the part of your body that's receiving this touch and the part that's giving it. So we want to go slowly enough that we can feel both sides of this activity. And as you press, you can notice, you can feel the muscles, you can feel bones. And we can do that. So it's, our heads are very important also. Neck, torso. So with the heart, so as you touch yourself, just notice, this is me. This is my body. And these are we're touching the outermost edges of our bodies. And I'm going all the way down my legs to my feet. And I'll sit down in a minute, but I'm going to go down the other leg. And you can take your time and do this in your own way. Then I'm going to, let's see. It's worth it to spend a little time with our feet. You just pick up a foot and really give it some nice pressure that feels good. Nothing should hurt. But our feet help us feel the literal ground, right? Oh my God, that feels good to me. Okay, so having done that, take a moment to register what that does for you. I can actually breathe better. I didn't know that I needed to, but now I can. So Shantae, would you unmute people again?
Yes, so again, you can hover over your name in the participant feature and raise your hand if you'd like to speak, or you can write your question in the chat function or your comment.
I'm going to read Gretchen. I imagine that I can relieve the sutures in my skull as well as you do it. I've had a headache for weeks. Despite taking time to move and breathe every day, all parts of me that sometimes hurt lately. Yeah. From Christine, this makes me feel like I really need a full body massage. I have lots of tension. Yeah, so we become aware as we get more into our bodies, we get more aware of tension. From Suzanne, feels very relaxed and happy. From Mary Lynn, feels like a great way to relieve tension, ground when sitting all day. Yeah. From Benifer, I feel an opening in my chest, like I can breathe fuller. Yeah, so So what I'm hearing from the participants, and thank you for giving me the feedback because it's very meaningful for all of us, is that something changes. And for each person, what changes is a little different. From Yuko, I feel clearer in my body. Become aware that I need to breathe more. Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Oh, I'm feeling more connection with my husband doing this together. That's lovely. Are there any kids doing this out there? I hope so. I love it. You can do this with your kids too, or your grandkids, or your godkids, or your nieces and nephews, or the kids you babysit for. So we're going to go on to the next activity. And you might not be able to see my head, but that's not really very important. Okay, so we're going to do a bit of an activity to kind of increase our relationship to the ground. There we go. All righty. So stand up if you would. This will go better standing. You don't have to stand up, but it will sort of go better. So I'm just going to invite you to sway back and forth on your feet. Just feeling how the weight changes and really tuning in to the bottoms of your feet. Just feeling how the weight changes as you go side to side. Make it really gentle. Don't lose your balance. And imagine that you're standing in something just delicious to stand in, like moss or the wet sand on the beach. Or imagine that you're standing in some kind of warm clay. And then come to center with your weight balanced on both feet fairly evenly. And maybe widen your feet just a little more than your shoulders, not a lot more, but just a little. And then shift over to one side and let the weight be mostly on that foot. And then bend your knee a little so that you feel the pull of gravity. And as you breathe out, imagine that the breath goes all the way down through that leg, through that foot, and into the earth. And then straighten your legs slowly and come to center. And just take a moment in the center to feel the difference between the side that we just did this on and the other side. You might notice a difference. Then shifting slowly to the other side till your weight is mostly on that foot, and then bending the knee a little. You can't really see my knee bend, but it's just a little. It's not a lot. You're not challenging too much, but just so you feel the weight go down through the leg. And as you breathe out, just imagine that the breath can go down the leg, through the foot, and down into the earth. And then straighten that knee and come to center. And just notice how you sense the ground and your sense of ground now. And maybe take a little walk around your room, a nice, slow, mindful walk, really feeling the ground with your feet. And once again, an invitation to notice what that gives you. And once again, to share it either out loud or in comments. Anybody?
Emily?
Yeah, my thought was, as they started walking, was like, oh God, I have feet. So grateful to be laughing right now. You have no idea. So.
Oh boy. Okay. Oh God, I have feet. I love it. Helps me feel anchored and connected with the forest I am so longing for. I feel incredibly weighted. My legs were not even awake before. I have never felt my legs so heavy. Love the image of standing on sand on the beach. So calming. Thank you. Is it normal that some exercises are connecting more than others? Yes. The ones you don't connect with, just let it go. We each have a different bodily history, as well as every other kind of history, and some will connect with us more. That's absolutely true. Yes, you're welcome. Thank you for asking that. It's important for us all to hear that. Okay, so we will go on to the next activity. I'm going to show it to you sitting down. I'm tipping a little, that might be a little too much. And I'm going to give you the instructions. They might be, it's a little bit of an odd activity, but it's a really powerful one. Great to teach kids, but really great for any of us if it happens to connect with us. So I'm going to say it and demonstrate it, and then I'll talk you through it again so that you don't have to get it all on the first go. So we're going to hook our hands not at our knees, but a little bit above our knees, about 3 inches or so above our knees and our thighs, and we're going to hook our hands under our thighs. So it'll be easier to do it if our hands are hooked under than if our hands are just here. So hook your hands under your thighs. Now this is a bit of an isometric, so we're pushing out with our legs and in with and resisting with our arms and hands until we feel a reasonable tension on the outsides of our legs, and it shouldn't hurt. And then we're holding that for a few breaths. Then we're letting the tension go very slowly, counting backwards from 10. Okay, so that was the demo. Now we can do it together, and I will talk us through it again. So, and this is one that we'll take questions on after if it didn't make sense. So hook your hands under your thighs and push out with your legs and in with your arms and hands until you feel a reasonable tension or a satisfying tension on the outsides of your legs. And just breathe normally as you sense that tension. And if it's too much, back off. If you can't feel it at all, maybe give a little more. Now we'll slowly let the tension go to a count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then take a moment just to notice the impact. And you might want to stand up to notice the impact. And now I'd love to take comments or questions on this activity. This is an activity, and I'll show you the standing up version too, that can really help with a lot of overwhelm. So, I mean, I sort of consider it my gold standard, and I teach it to everyone I work with by and large, because it can really help when we're really in a state of overwhelm or very heightened emotion, or technical term here, freaking out, as we all sometimes do. So I just like people to have the opportunity to learn this. So any feedback, questions? It worked, it didn't work, it felt terrible. How do I do it? I don't know if I'm doing it right. So Gretchen says, my body is big and my arms are short. Would you ever use a prop to support this? Well, yes. Let's see. First of all, if you can, I would bend over farther. Mary Lynn, I'll get to Mary Lynn in just a minute. Yeah, Gretchen, I will show the standing version. That will eradicate that problem. Mary Lynn, yes, very containing. We're gonna do one for the upper body. So thank you for asking, but we are gonna do one for the upper body. Anybody else on this version? Feedback on what it did for you? Other questions in addition to Gretchen's?
Again, you can hover over your name in the participant feature, and you can click the raise hand feature, and then I can see you and call on you.
Made me and Anthony both feel very sleepy. Well, that's a very interesting response. It stretched my upper back. Okay.
We've got
the
Mary
back
M. Lou. Sorry, we've got M. Lou. Ready?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I became very aware that my lower back was tensing. That somehow to do this, it engaged my lower back, which was sort of louder than. It's like that's what had to take time to untense after the legs and arms.
Okay. Okay. So somebody else that helps the low back and SI joint. Well, that's very interesting. So I'm going to show you the standing up version. It's a little, it's hard, it doesn't translate that well on video because you can't really see me. It's just two-dimensional. But again, I'm gonna try to say it clearly. So this is a very important, this is very important. It's easier for the most part not to hurt yourself when you're doing it sitting. So if you have knee issues, be very careful. So what we're gonna do is have our feet just hip widths apart. Okay, so right under, so that stops us from hurting it, going too far out. And I'm going to imagine, my feet are gonna stay in the exact same position they're in, but I'm going to, I don't know if you can see it, it's a very subtle movement. Again, it's isometric. You're pushing out, you're imagining that you could push your feet in towards the walls without moving them on the floor. And that will tense the outsides of your thighs and even your lower leg to some degree. So go ahead and try that. You're pushing out, and you can put your hands on the outsides of your thighs to feel if it's tense. And again, nothing should hurt. So if it hurts or you're worried about it, please back off. And breathe normally. Shouldn't hold your breath, just 2 or 3 breaths. And then we'll let it go to a count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then take a moment to notice the impact. And if there are questions, comments, I feel now like a tree.
Mm.
Oh, your lower back went snap, crackle, pop in a great way.
Okay, we have Emmylou again, so I'm unmuting you.
Yeah. So this, I felt both contained and the weight on the ground and a kind of ease. So this one really kind of opened something, grounded and opened.
Great. Thank you. I feel I prefer to stay at 5, not 1. Could you clarify that, Suzanne? I don't understand. From Debbie, able to take much deeper breaths. Yeah. Yeah. So now we're going to do, well, anybody else?
Suzanne, would you like me to unmute you? You could say that. Or hold on, let me just try to find you here.
Oh, I think I know what you mean. You prefer to stay at the tension that you felt at 5. Yes, I got it. Yes. Yes, you can stay at 5. So Suzanne is saying something very important. So what she's saying is that she really got something when at the tension that she was at the countdown at level 5, that really gave her something. And you can experiment with that, because this activity is very containing, and it can put people really in contact with a lot of their sense of empowerment at times. If it didn't do that for you, please don't worry. It will give you different experiences on different days. But you can try this of finding which intensity. Suzanne says if you count up to 10 from the baseline, you can play with the energy. Yes. So play with it and find out what it might give you at different intensities and on different days. Yeah. Okay. So I'm really aware that it's nearly.
Sorry. I have one more person, Emily. The raised
Yes.
hand.
Okay, we can move on. It's fine.
No, please. I love to hear from people.
What I felt, I have a much better sense of my lower body, but I feel disconnected from my upper.
Yes, because we're going to do the upper body part corollary to this now.
Okay.
But I just want to reassure you that when I teach this, it is without a doubt that I will get that feedback. Undoubtedly. You're welcome, Mary Lynn. Okay, so I know that we're close to the end of our hour, which is time flies when you're having fun. But I want to do the second part of this for the upper body, and I don't want to encroach. Shantae has been such a wonderful host, and I don't want to encroach on her Saturday. So the upper body part goes like this, and I'm going to do it sitting. You can see me, but you can also do it standing. So we're going to put our hands in front of our chest, right in front of our heart. Hold your elbows out like that so that you can press in straight. And we're going to press in until you feel some tension. And now I want you to bring your shoulder blades just a tiny bit towards each other in the back, maybe an inch. And so now you should be feeling a kind of a basket of tension in your upper body. Again, it shouldn't hurt or feel difficult to hold. And just breathe normally as you sense that tension. And then slowly, slowly, slowly let the tension go to a count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And again, just notice, take time to notice what that gives you, what happens in your body, in your sense of yourself, in your sense of the world, having done this. Elizabeth says, I feel very warm in my back. Chest open more. Yeah. Deeper breathing. Yeah. Sometimes this activity, it's like if you're really feeling my head got something to rest upon, oh, that's interesting. This can really support the heart. So this event, what we're all going through right now, it really hits me in my heart. Your throat feels clear, yeah. And because I feel so much sadness and distress for so many people, both that I know and who I don't know. And I find it's like it gives my heart enough support and protection to not despair. Gretchen, that was my exact experience. I felt heart opening. Yeah. Yuko feels centered. Yes, it can be also very centering. Anybody else? Thank you so much. Oh, you're welcome. You're very welcome. So, of course, I had much more to offer today. You're welcome, Benai, for releasing your chest. Thank you. So what I'd like to do, so I'm going to draw the class to a close to respect the time boundary, because, you know, I'm a therapist and it's very important to respect the boundaries. And I want to thank you for participating. Thank you for the feedback, both the feedback on the chat and the feedback for those who were speaking. Perhaps we'll do a part 2 at some point. But I especially want to thank Shantae, of course, for being a wonderful, what do I call you, Shantae? A moderator, a facilitator, a person who helped me and helped us make this happen.
Great.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I do just want to announce that Karen will be teaching on Weekly Dharma Gathering on May 20th, Wednesday, May 20th. So mark your calendars. I don't know if you remember that, Karen.
I do. Thank you. No, I'm not going. No, and I believe. Yes, thank you, Shantae. And I believe what I'm going to be teaching on is. Now this is, I'm still refining the topic, but something like meditation and trauma history. Like when we have a trauma history and we come into the meditative context, lots of different things can happen, and not all of them do we know how to navigate, and not all of them do our teachers know how to navigate. So I'm going to be presenting on that, I think.
And if Karen wants to do a part 2, we will make that happen, and probably we'll do it on a Saturday as well. So you'll all get an email from us or from Karen or see it on social media. So thank you. Yes. And thank you, Karen. Thank you so much. So
yes,
please check out Weekly Dharma Gathering. I can put our website in the chat right here so everyone can see it. And we'd love to see you on any Wednesday, or we'd love to see you on Monday and Fridays when we're having free meditation this Monday and Friday, next Monday and Friday, or Wednesday when we have our teacher. So thank you again, and thank you, Karen.
Thank you. Can I just look at the chat for a minute so I can read the things? Oh,
yeah.
Cool. Is there
oh, yes, the time for 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time are on all Wednesdays. On all Wednesdays, Mondays, and Fridays, 7 p.m. But Wednesday, yeah, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Oh, wow. For Emily, this was the best experience of being with others that she's had since shelter in place. Beautiful. Okay, much love, sanity, and safety to everybody. And see you in the future.
Thank you, everyone. Be safe.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Karen Brent.
Hi, Karen.
Love you.
We love you.
Oh, you're welcome.
We love you so
Great
much.
blessing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We love
Thank you to everyone.
Thank you, Karen.
Welcome.
Everybody's fine.
Thanks everyone for being here. Awesome. Stop recording here.